Commissioner Powell,
Here.
Commissioner Smith Charles,
Present.
Commissioner Erickson Gall. Here. Commissioner Spiz,
Present.
Commissioner Taylor,
Here.
Commissioner Long,
Here.
Commissioner Markham.
Here.
The quorum.
All right, let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our next item is approval of the previous minutes, moved by Commissioner Taylor, supported by Commissioner Powell. Any changes? All in favor of approving the previous minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next we have approval of the agenda, moved by Commissioner Powell, supported by Commissioner Long. Any additions or deletions or changes? Seeing none, all in favor of today's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, we have our first public comment. That is for anyone in the public who wishes to address us on any item on today's agenda. We will have a second public comment at the end for those who wish to talk on any topic. So is there anyone who wants to address us on one of the agenda items today? Seeing no one, I will close the first public comment and move on to item number 7A, Savvy Oakland County Mid-February Impact Reports. Moved by Commissioner Smith Charles, supported by Commissioner Powell. Does anybody have any comments on the facts that we have here?
Is there anyone here from Savvy?
Is there anybody here or online from Savvy?
Oh, man, Amanda.
Yes, this is Amanda Cross from Savvy.
Hey, Amanda. I do have a question.
Thank you
Hi.
for coming.
Of course.
Commissioner Smith Charles.
Yeah, thanks. And it is germane, but probably not contained in this report. Does Savvy support residents in Oakland County when it comes to the act that was passed a couple years ago with regards to for-profit universities and being able to help navigate those tricky waters?
Yes, that's a great question. We do support any borrower who comes through who has attended a for-profit university. There's actually quite a few borrowers that we've worked with in the past 6 months. They are welcome to reach out to our team and talk to us.
Excellent, because just for all of our edification, there's a few companies that will reach out to you and they're like, oh, we can help you get rid of $80,000 worth of student loans, but you just need to pay us $1,800. And so I'm like,
Gosh.
wait a minute, I feel like Savvy might be serving us in this space. So just wanted to lift that so that if anyone's considering an investment to that degree to try to get rid of these nonprofit bills, to the point where some institutions have people as enrolled who never attended at all. And so, and that's in my gobs of thousands of dollars of what's owed. And so I just thought, let me check before expending that dollar amount. And now others in the community can utilize Savvy too. So now I'm even more bullish on Savvy.
Exactly. We will work with them at no additional cost, and we do not want them to incur any cost from outside companies.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Good point.
One more question.
Commissioner Powell.
Recently there was a vote that was taking place, in regards to the holdup, because federal had a pause on things. Could you give us a brief update, as to where things are now? Because I know a judgment was, like what's going on with that?
Sure. So the SAVE plan has been on hold since the end of 2024. And there was a recent lawsuit that was going to end the SAVE plan resulting in all of those borrowers needing to move to a new income-driven repayment plan. This past Friday, that lawsuit was unexpectedly dismissed. And that means that right now, anyone who is still enrolled in SAVE will continue to be on forbearance and not make any monthly student loan payments.
Great.
It is on track for the SAVE plan to be eventually removed by 2028. However, right now, that plan still exists. Applications are not open for the plan, but anyone who has been enrolled in the past will remain enrolled on that plan and remain in forbearance. There are going to be continuing updates coming to that plan based on this recent news that will most likely come to light in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned. There could be more updates. There could be any new changes that come, but for the time being, anyone who is enrolled in SAVE will remain enrolled in SAVE and not be making any monthly student loan payments.
Thank you.
Of course.
I like the summaries. From the expert.
All right, anybody else
Yeah, well, she's
on
here.
this topic?
Thank you, Jesus.
Let's go ahead and prompt the vote on receive and file. Thank you for being here, Amanda.
Of course, happy to join anytime. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Commissioner Erickson Galt,
Yes. Oh, when you're on a
you
different
have
page.
7 yeas
it's not-
and 0 nays.
Okay, motion carries.
All right.
Next is item 8A, under the public health and safety recommendations. Request to allocate additional funding for the increase of marine safety patrols on Oakland County Lakes programs for 2026 to 2028 boating season. Commissioner Long, supported by Commissioner Powell.
I ain't got no legs, but I will. I mean, no, I have, I got legs, but
I
I
got
don't
the
know if y'all be
legs.
out there like y'all out in Early.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Depends on what's going on. As big as some of the
You know,
other
they hang
rights.
out over there. They ain't hanging out at ours.
You got it. I'm gonna present for Karen.
Yeah, I know I got my
Um,
legs. They
she
not-
couldn't make it today, so this passed through public health and safety yesterday. And this program was successful for 4 years. 3 years, we allocated the $50,000, and I think the 1 year we got a grant. The grant is not available, I heard now, and so we're asking for $50,000 per year from the general fund. I found that out because I thought someone would ask that, from the general fund. And I think it's for Marine Patrol, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, for the 5 busiest lakes they'll be used, the extra patrol, is it extra patrol, right? Quote
Yeah, this is-
unquote, you know.
It's above and beyond.
And I think all of us hear these tragic accidents on the lakes, and I think it's unfortunately with the winter and the summer, they're getting more and more in Oakland County,
We had
so
like 8 last year,
know.
didn't we? Drownings?
it's a lot, so we do need this patrol, you know, and then the winter too with people going on the ice and stuff. We've had a lot of stuff happen, so I just think this is important, so I think that's the sum of it. And I think you wanna continue it indefinitely, I think eventually, right?
Yes, I think that was Commissioner Juliet's intention.
Yeah, I think it continue, but right now it's coming 50,000 and to bump up the Marine Patrol and coming out of the general fund. And I think this resolution is just for the 3 years, 26 through 28. So if any questions, I hope I did good.
All right.
Let's see, it was
For
unanimous.
Karen?
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
I see enough videos.
I know.
I just, I would like to see Oakland County do more about boater and water safety education across the county. So,
Even dogs died.
you know, I'd like to see us set aside some money and make a real program that shows up on, you know, television and
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
micro-targeted Facebook and all that stuff, because some of these accidents were just people not knowing any better.
Mhm.
Some of them were stupid, but some of them were people who, you know, just got caught up in something they literally
Play around
in
with
over their head, but, you know, not to be funny about it.
Right.
Commissioner, if I may too, a lot of it is now
Winter and
just
summer.
how busy they are.
Yeah.
They're way busier than historic, like especially the 5 biggest ones we're talking about. They're just they're a lot busier than they traditionally were back in the day.
Oh, will you tell, what are the 5 busiest you think? Is it
Well-
Cass Lake is probably one?
White Lake, Cass Lake, Woodhull, Lake Oakland.
Lake Orion,
who am I-
Where's Woodhull?
Lake Orion.
that's on your summary.
It's kind of,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Lake Orion.
I knew Cass Lake's is really busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woodhull, where's that lake?
So that's Lake Oakland, Woodhull is the same.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. But those are mostly in the north. I know, you know, like
I know,
Wall Lake,
I know.
my community,
Oh, yeah,
it
there's a lot.
has patrol, at
And I
least
thought the
part-time.
I thought Bloomfield area. West Bloomfield, is that
Yeah,
West
We
Bloomfield?
have all
No,
lengths.
Pontiac Lake, you would think would be really busy.
Yeah, Pontiac
More
Lake.
behaved over there
Really?
than what we got, yeah.
Are there certain lakes that are,
Yeah.
that always have a patrol and others that have one on the big days or?
Well, yes and no. So it depends on whatever contract's set up, whatever the community has set up for the contract. But yeah, some certainly have, I mean, look, some of them, their community revolves around that, right?
Yeah.
So they invest in that. This, what we're saying here is we've noticed an uptick in some things and I have all the proof needed if you need to see the increase. To your point, like I had no idea this many boats sank, this many cars went through one, like
I know,
it
a
just-
lot.
it's a lot.
Even
a lot
dogs
more
did
than
this
I thought.
winter, I think on
So,
some of the lakes, some dogs.
But I'm not a lake guy, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
know that otherwise, but apparently it's a big deal.
I think, you know, some public interest publication of, we had 12 cars land in lakes last year. We had, you know,
Yeah.
we had
We
8
do-
drownings and, I mean,
Well,
just
they
really
lost it
tell
if it's on one
people,
lake.
yeah. I
We do a
mean,
lot of education, but maybe where the gap is us marketing that education.
Yeah.
But we are all over the county, from everywhere really, regionally, kind of promoting this type of water safety, but maybe we don't market it as well.
Yeah.
Maybe, I
I
don't
mean, it
know.
wouldn't help parents to make their
Yeah,
kids
I'm
safe.
wondering,
Safety.
There's a really good videographer at SEMCOG and he loves to do work for anybody who asks for it and maybe he could help us put together something that
There's
we
no one who
could.
likes to be on camera more than me. Put me right up front and center. I'll tell you.
Sound like me,
everything you know.
don't it? The team know, yeah. I had a question.
Commissioner Powell.
Okay, so I'm not a water girl, so what is that called when I found out that it's like in the lake, right? And then the sand or something
Oh, like a
and they get to
Sandbar?
hang out. And that's-
Sandbar, yeah.
Oh, it's called a sandbar,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, you can stand in
Look
the
at
middle of the
that. Y'all
lake.
know, I ain't no water girl.
Yeah, you can stand in the middle of the
Cause when
lake and
somebody
then it
told
drops,
me that,
yeah.
they like, no, that's where they be hanging out,
Yeah.
cause I seen the video and I'm
Yeah.
like,
How did
they're
they
in
get
the
there?
middle of the lake.
Yeah.
How in the hell is they standing that ain't it down? They like, no, girl, that's called,
Sandbar.
sandbar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of that going.
Yes, and then they drink and then that's it.
You know, and then, they-
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, sandbar. I learned something new
Alright.
every day.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
See, you learned something.
Discussions on
I
this?
don't fool with no water dog. I even get friendly
Alright,
with the life jacket.
Seeing no more comments,
I like
let's
life
prompt the vote on item 8A.
And I'm sorry, I missed who first and seconded.
Oh, I moved it and I think,
Oh, it was me.
Commissioner
I don't got-
Angela,
yeah,
second.
I got
Thank you.
late. I do got late. They just not as popular
right,
as everywhere else.
thank you.
You have 7
That's all I-
yeas and 0
Good
nays.
program.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have item 9, departmental recommendations. The first is 9A, application for the fiscal year 2027 Michigan Indigent Defense Commission grant.
Yeah, right.
Moved by Commissioner Taylor, supported by Commissioner Spiz. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Pete Mena. I manage the Indigent Defense Services Office. Paulette Lofton, as you know, is our Chief Public Defender. And I understand that you all have the PowerPoint
Yep.
on your devices. We're just not putting it up on the screen. So I'll tell you when I move to a new slide. You know, we were talking about this today. It's kind of interesting because we go through this budget process as a county in August and September. And we have our budget hearings and that's great. But for all intents and purposes, for us, this is our budget hearing. You know, we're applying for the grant that is going to be our funding with the exception of one general fund employee. This is the money that is gonna fund us in FY27. So we love seeing you all for our budget hearings. I'm not saying anything about that at all, but I just do wanna make that point clear that really this is our budget hearing. So the first 4 slides really is just sort of background information on what indigent defense is. I do try to put that first slide in every time, because I think it's important to remind people that this is a constitutional duty that government has. But when I move to slide 5, which says grant process at the top, and assuming the MIDC approves our submission, that's where you'll really get into the actual data on what we're asking for FY27. So our total request is approximately $19.6 million, and then the county would contribute its local share as we do every year. This year, it's gonna be 1.8 million, 1,867, 161.92 is the exact amount. You can see it in there. That doesn't change much each year. It can only go up by 3%, and then it reverts back each year to its original amount. So that amount really does not fluctuate. When the mechanics of getting our grant is anything that's unexpended from the year before, we just keep that in our account, and then that gets deducted from the next year. So moving to the next slide, of course, we're managed by an office that's independent of the judiciary. That's one of the MIDC requirements. We have a hybrid system. So when we intake cases that need appointment, we appoint some of those out to a roster of independent contractors and some of those to our in-house public defender's office. Our split right now is about 80-20. So about 80% of our cases go to the roster, and about 20% of our overall caseload goes to Paulette's office of lawyers. She currently has a couple more positions posted. Once those are filled, hopefully she'll be fully staffed for this year. We don't anticipate that number changing next year, just because, to be very blunt, we're out of space. So until all of the space issues are resolved in terms of the move to Pontiac and maybe freeing up other spaces, we're not going to be able to expand this office much more than we currently have. And that's okay. I mean, there's benefit to growing an office like this slowly. We've seen examples from around the state where people have tried to grow too fast, and that doesn't work out well either. You have employees who are not happy. So we're very comfortable. I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm just saying that factually, we're comfortable where we're at right now. The next several slides, you'll see a breakdown of our caseload. The first slide is felony, the next is misdemeanor, and then the third is arraignment caseload. I won't spend too much time on that, but the felony and misdemeanors are broken down by quarter, and then the number of arraignment defendants represented are broken down by month. So you can see that we've been fairly stable for the last couple of years. We make anywhere between 1,100 to 1,400 felony case appointments each quarter. And then misdemeanors were right about between 800 and 1,100, depending on the quarter. We've definitely seen things stabilized coming off of COVID. We certainly had a big drop. COVID, things started coming up a little bit, kind of, I would say, getting back to the pre-COVID normal in terms of criminal caseload. And now it seems like we're stabilizing that a little bit. So slide 10, which is the one that says MIDC budget category personnel at the top. That's the category that covers all of our employees. So in that category, we're requesting $6.6 million. That funds 10 positions in my office. It funds 17 attorney positions in Paulette's office and 12 support staff. It also funds 2 pretrial and justice specialists, so they do the pretrial services reports in the jail on a daily basis, and then they transmit those to the attorneys. Those help the attorneys be able to argue for appropriate bond for their clients. And then we also fund 1 sheriff's deputy position. That's because there's some need to move inmates around in the jail to accommodate pre-arraignment communication with their lawyers. So we've been successful in getting that sheriff's deputy position funded for the last several years. The MIDC doesn't love funding ancillary positions, but we have not asked for any new ancillary positions. We've stayed pretty static with these 2 pretrial and 1 sheriff's deputy position, so we're hopeful they won't give us any problems about that this year. Slide 11 is the roster attorneys category, so you can see that we're requesting about $12 million in that category. So that's all of the money used to pay our roster attorneys. And again, that's
Not that much.
felony appointments in circuit court. We cover all of the misdemeanor appointments in all 4 of the 52nd district courts, because those are county funded. So Clarkston, Rochester, Troy, and Novi. And then we have 3 attorneys in the jail. They're virtual, but they're in the jail each morning that provide arraignment representation for anyone getting arraigned out of the jail. And you can see our hourly rates on that slide and how they've gone up over the years. We're looking at about, depending on the category you look at, about a 3 to 3.5% increase for next year with those rates. The next 2 slides you can see are the number of felony vouchers that we approve each month, and then the slide after that is the hour averages. The reason I included these slides is because much of what we do in preparing for this grant is we try to project what our needs are going to be, what are the bills that we're going to get from these attorneys. This year, the MIDC moved up our due date a full month. Normally, we don't have to turn this grant in until the end of April. And this year, it's moved up a full month, so we have to turn it in at the end of March. Because of that, what I've tried to explain to them is that then makes it harder for us to get accurate data. Because as we're trying to project out in future years, we try to use our real data that we can see. So the less data we're able to gather, the less accurate our projections are going to be. And so especially that second slide, our hourly averages slide, you can see it's almost the inverse of the slide before it. So when we look at low severity felonies, the average number of hours that we see on those vouchers is pretty stable. It doesn't change that much. But when you look at that green category, our capital cases, our very serious felonies, you can see that graph, that line is up and down, fluctuating like crazy. So it does make it a little hard to predict, the amount of money that we're gonna need in that category. But we do our best. If there was ever a situation where we did have to overspend, there is a mechanism in the statute where the MIDC is supposed to reimburse systems for overspending. That rarely happens, and it in fact has never happened to a system to a large degree. We've seen it in smaller systems where they've maybe had to get reimbursed $50,000 or something of that nature. We've never seen super high numbers, but that is a legal requirement. They have to reimburse us if we overspend. The next category is experts and investigators, so $900,000 in that category. You can see the investigator rate standardized at $125 an hour. That's set by the MIDC. We don't set that rate. And then for experts, we have some discretion over the rates that we will pay. We try to approximate market rates, but also let these people know that you're working for the taxpayers on an indigent defense case. So I understand that your regular hourly rate might be $500 an hour, but we can't pay you that. And we have fairly good success. The next slide just shows you the number of expert and investigator requests that we have seen over the years and the increase in those, which I always say is a good thing. I mean, I think, Paulette's investigators that she has on staff are county employees, so they're not really counted in this graph, but I think she'll tell you what a valuable resource that is when you're preparing for these cases.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then the next slide is contracts, so about $86,000 in that category. We have things like case management software, legal research software, background check software, that kind of thing. The next slide is training and travel. It's about $300,000. We have a contract with the Oakland County Bar Association to provide annual training. So there's a yearly continuing legal education requirement that all attorneys have to meet. The MIDC gives us money to be able to fund that for the attorneys. So in other words, when they take courses through the OCBA, they're not having to pay anything out of pocket for that. We've paid the OCBA for that contract so they can get their CLEs done for free. And we have a bucket of money to also pay for some courses with the criminal defense attorneys in Michigan as well. And of course, we pay for the attorneys' bar dues. Which, not the roster attorneys, just to be clear. We pay for the bar dues for the employee attorneys in the public defender's office. And then the last slide is supplies and services. This one, you can see there's a significant range there. I said 800,000 to 1.4 million. The big hangup there is these indirect costs. The MIDC has gotten very strict in recent years about what they will or will not give systems for indirect costs. They will automatically give you 10% of your salaries and fringes. So for us, that would be about $660,000. If you figure we've got a $6.6 million budget for salaries and fringes. Anything over and above that a system says that they need, the MIDC is very reluctant to approve. And so we turn in our Maximus report, the cost allocation plan. We turn that into the MIDC. We tell them, look, this is everything we need based on what Maximus says we need, building space allocation, B&L fund, telecommunications, the IT quarterly charges, all of those things. So we will certainly submit for the full amount. I'm not confident that it's gonna get approved for that full amount. So that's why I put that range in here. I wanna be realistic about what I think they are going to approve this year. And many systems, I mean, all systems are faced with that same issue. So that is where we stand for FY27. Happy to take any questions.
Okay, I will start with Commissioner Long and then Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So on slide, I have one question on slide 6, the unused funds at the end of the year. I understand that if we don't use a certain amount, it just takes off the grant for the next year. Are we always not using all the funds
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
year?
Yes.
Okay,
We
and then how much about do we not use a year?
So we've had high unexpended funds balances the last 2 years,
Okay.
about $5 million.
Okay, ooh, a lot.
A lot. The reason that this has happened, and this has been a big point of contention with the MIDC, a lot of systems have had high balances.
Okay.
The main reason for that is when they switched to the hourly fee model, which you'll probably remember from a couple
Yes.
of years ago.
Yep.
It was very hard for systems to project what those bills were gonna be.
Okay.
When we were flat fee, we knew, oh, we're gonna get 4,000 cases and we're gonna pay whatever per case, right? But with hourly, it was very hard. So we have, those first few years after the hourly came in, there were very high balances. It's now starting to come down.
Okay, so you think it might go down a little?
Absolutely.
So the last few years was about 5 million?
Last year was 5, the year
Okay.
before that, I think, was closer to 8.
Okay, and the state will still, they're still giving you that 19, so then they're minusing that 8, so you're actually getting 11. You would get that year, if you had 8 million left, you would get 11 from the grant?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep,
okay, but you do see that trend that we're gonna start using more of it with the new system,
absolutely.
probably?
Now, once we are at a place, we're getting to a place where we can more accurately predict what the vouchers are gonna be, that level is gonna stabilize.
Okay, and a second question, while I'm on that, did that little bit, I mean, the attorneys really didn't get that much of an increase in pay. Did that little bit help get some talent in there, that little bit of a raise?
I mean, just,
Cause it's really not that big of a raise, and we've been trying to get it for years.
well, when we went from flat fee to
Right.
hourly, so a couple of years ago, when we went
Okay.
from flat fee to hourly,
Right,
we saw several people who had left
Come
and said, I'm not doing this, come back.
Okay.
And some high quality people.
So that's helping.
Absolutely,
And that little bit, and then we were flat fee was per case before, right?
correct.
And now it's, they can bill, they're keeping track of their hours, they bill their hours, and then that 3% extra helps get some talent in there.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
that's it, thanks.
Commissioner Powell?
I just wanted to say, didn't you recently get honored or recognized for something? And I just wanted to say congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
so
all.
much.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell.
Yeah, so what was the award? Let us know.
It was Crane's Women's
Yeah,
Notable
I know it
Lawyers.
was something big,
Yeah, Cranes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Yeah,
it too,
yeah, yeah.
congratulations, yeah.
I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, I
the
saw it too.
magazine or
I saw it on
whatever.
Facebook, I think.
Congratulations.
I think I saw it on Facebook somewhere.
Yeah.
And to that point, I mean, I don't ever wanna undersell how important it has been to be, for us to be able to have created this office that frankly, a few years ago, no one would have ever envisioned. And this office exists, it provides very high quality representation. And it's just a great asset to our county.
Yes, just one tidbit, we recently had a trial, it was child abuse causing death, so super serious, it was a life offense if he was convicted. We were able to get 2 experts to testify on our client's behalf. And we got a very favorable verdict, and in speaking with the jury, their decision hinged on the way that our experts were able to explain the injuries and explain the situation. So 7 years ago, wouldn't have happened.
Wow.
Right.
People's lives.
And it's Women's Month, so good.
Good.
Commissioner Erickson Gall.
Thank you, Chair. Wonderful work you're doing. Very much appreciate that.
From an attorney here.
No, I was gonna say, she has to do some
Yeah.
comment.
From someone who has never had the ability to do criminal defense work, I applaud you on how well you're doing. I think I asked this question at the budget hearings. I just want to check in still. You're still getting an adequate roster of independent attorneys who have the level of competence that you
Yes.
need.
Yeah, and in fact, I've been really impressed by the people that we've seen trying to join the roster. We feel we have a lot of high quality people. And really to that point, one of the things that started last year was a dedicated system of performance evaluations. That never existed before. So we have an attorney on staff, that's all she does is performance evaluations. And these are intense. These aren't just like, well, I'm gonna watch you one time and say you're okay. I mean, she has a very full process. And I think she's done over 120 performance evaluations over the past year. So not only getting the people to join, but also the people that are there, helping them make improvements where they would have never had that resource before.
And then MIDC requires continuing legal education, so before MIDC, you didn't ever have to take a class after law school. So someone that had been out practicing for 40 years never took a class, so
What?
Oh, man, I
so now
did
it's
it for
required every
nursing
single
2
year and the
years.
programs are very stringent.
We were just skating through
Yeah.
it, right?
And
God, I
for
wouldn't have taken ed classes. That's what we
determining
did.
which cases get experts, is that internal
Yeah.
within your organization?
Yeah, so the way that it works is the form gets submitted to me. We have an expert request form on our website. It gets submitted to me, whether it's from a roster attorney or one of Paulette's attorneys. It gets submitted to me, I review it, determine whether it's gonna be granted or denied. It's very rare for one to be denied. In fact, I could probably count the number of denials on one hand. The thing that might come up, as I mentioned, the rate before, if it's like a doctor, well, we can't really pay them quite as much as they want, would they take this lower rate? We see that sometimes, and normally they're willing to do that. There is an appeal process, if I were to deny one, there is an appeal process that's built in, but we have never had that come up, so.
No, I think that's great because as you know, it used to be that they had to go beg judges
Yeah.
Yes.
to give them.
And give your defense to the prosecution.
Yes.
Yes, it's not ideal.
And it's so much better that they have an independent and it reinforces that code, that ethics, that it's supposed to be independent from the judiciary, so that's great. So wonderful.
Anybody else?
Thank you for.
Okay, with that, let's go ahead and prompt the vote.
Commissioner Powell,
Yes, I don't know why I ain't popped up, but I'm a yes.
you have 78 nays.
Thank you. Motion
Thank you.
carries.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
So now we won't cut down the budget.
Yeah.
It's good, because that was a good presentation.
Bring that same presentation
Yeah,
in
it was good.
August.
Oh, it'll be, yes, it'll be back in August.
Yes.
We'll tweak the numbers a
good.
little bit, but it'll be back.
Yeah,
All right.
it's good.
All right, next up, we have item 9B,
Oh, yeah.
9B.
Is yours?
Sponsorship of the America 250 Celebration Infrastructure Improvements with the Oakland County Pioneer and Historical Society.
Chair, friendly amendment. Can I ask, if somehow we can do B through E together? Cause they're all sponsorships.
Does anyone have issues with that?
I don't know.
support.
A or B is big, that's the only thing, everything else is $5,000 or $10,000. B is
Okay,
But this
so
is
we do
250, this
B.
one's 52,000, but it's important. you
Right,
know, for
okay,
that.
so the other three we can do together though?
Yeah, I think so,
Okay, great.
yeah.
Trying to speak.
Yeah, because this one's 52, so this, and it's important.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to put this on the table, Commissioner Taylor and Commissioner Spiz. Okay, and on the screen with us, we have Connor Newton, who is the president of the Oakland County Pioneer and Historical Society. Hi, Connor.
When's this program?
So I'll talk about this to start, and then you guys can ask questions. So Oakland County, in trying to determine the best way to celebrate America 250, Oakland County itself has not really generated a whole lot of plans yet, and of course, it's coming up in 4 months, right? So we got kicking around the idea of, why don't we work with our historical society, which is right here in Pontiac. It's down on Cesar Chavez Boulevard, real close to downtown. And when I went to them and I said, can we do this? And they were like, well, yeah, but, and I agree with this, and I've kind of pushed them this way. Their site does not really have the infrastructure to handle a bigger crowd than they've been handling. Now, the event that we're tying this to is their annual ice cream social, which is all about telling about Oakland County's history, trying to bring people in. It's a free event. And so, but their infrastructure, the site, if you have not been there, has a mansion, a carriage house, a schoolhouse, a gazebo, and some other outbuildings. And the mansion was built in 1850-ish. Okay. And they do tours and all that stuff. So what we have come to an agreement on is they need a driveway that can handle the amount of moving that's gonna take place at this event. And they also would like to electrify the gazebo so that they can light it up, so that they can have groups out there with, music and speakers and stuff like that. So that, the total for both of them together is $52,000. Now, their original request, as you'll see here, they asked for a video production budget, but I've hooked them up with Semcog, the videographer down there. He does really great work. He'll do a promotional video, he'll do a video of the event. So
They're doing that in kind, I see.
they're doing that in
Yeah.
kind. And then as far as printing goes, I think between us, our communications department, the county's communications department and all of that, we'll figure out materials that we need and we'll get them printed. There is a planning meeting for this event a week from today.
What's the date?
The date of the event
Do you
is.
have that anywhere? I don't see it, I'd
Do you
love.
know off the top of your head,
It's
Con?
summertime, I'm probably missing.
What's the date of the event?
Yes, it's the last weekend in July. So I believe that's the 26th and 27th.
Thank you.
Last weekend.
It's always a
So
two-day
coming up,
event.
so it's gonna go fast, it's coming up
Right.
Last weekend.
in July.
Yes. And so
I didn't
that's
see
what,
that on
that's
here.
what this is for. We're asking for the $52,000
After parties
for
at her house.
the driveway and parking area and electrifying the
My house
gazebo.
on the Lake Orion.
The reason I'm in the middle of all of this is I'm on their board. And this was actually Chris Ward's idea. hey, could we maybe partner with them and their event? So between them and what they're
Parks and
doing and their partner organizations and us helping them build up their site to be able to handle a bigger program, that's what this is for.
Good.
So, anybody have any questions for Connor or for me?
No, they just don't have enough money to work with, so this is good.
Yeah. If nobody's got any questions, we can go ahead and
Explained
prompt
it so
the
good.
vote. Well, thank you. I've done this once or twice.
As commissioners are voting, I'll just remind you that we do have two different line items within our budget. One is for sponsorship of events and the other is for program. This will come out of that program budget, so this won't impact the
Okay,
line
this is
item.
more of a program, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's more of, and this is why I wanted to separate them in the vote, because this is really building infrastructure. And our leadership has told me that for the bigger items, they would like us to concentrate on infrastructure projects where we're really improving. And this, I think this marries nicely with what's going on in downtown Pontiac. We'd really like to connect, everything more and walkability and all of that. So this would become another site that people would wanna.
Yeah, cause don't we got 100 something? I didn't forget about it. They got 100 celebration, of the Pontiac brand.
Oh, the Pontiac car brand
Yeah.
is
100.
also, yeah,
It's this
and
year in June.
this year, and they're celebrating that at the end of June, which is why we didn't wanna get on top of that and aim for like the 4th of July. We just said, let's go with this event, which is already an existing event in July.
Yep.
So,
Y'all get notice, it's coming.
did we?
You'll hear about all
We
that
did, we have
too.
7 yeas and 0 nays.
All right, motion carries. Connor, we have secured the funding, if it goes through the board next week, which is where it has to go next, and then that's next week, Wednesday?
10,000, what's their total?
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Next week, Wednesday,
That's a
it will be our
huge
final
thing.
vote on
So
it,
their
but
budget
you
Well, my
have
sincere thanks to you and the finance committee. We appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Connor. All right,
Yeah, this Wednesday at 6 p.m.
yeah. Next week, right?
Yes, yep, next Wednesday.
I do have a question.
Oh, I gotta get y'all to.
I need-
I gotta pee.
Next, we have
Yeah,
items,
reminder now.
we're gonna take these together, items 9C, D, and E.
Okay.
Moved by Commissioner Smith Charles, supported by Commissioner Taylor.
I have one question for.
We'll take questions, or,
My famous question.
okay, and Commissioner Hoffman wants to tell us a little bit about the Brandon Township one, so.
No, there's fireworks.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm here with Jason Rumble, the supervisor, Brandon Township, and he's got a short 20 or 25 minute speech prepared.
No, it need to be like 20 seconds.
Love to see that. I don't think I've ever seen
Yeah, I just wanted to say, thank you for having me today. Thank you for considering this request. The community fireworks were taken over this year by the township. For the past 10 years, it had been done by the Ortonville DDA and the Friends of Amos. Okay, so they asked us to take it over after last year not being able to do it because of construction at the high school. So we weren't allowed, we didn't have anywhere else in our community to fire them off from. So this year they asked us to do it, we took it back over. So of course, we don't have any budget for it, so we asked money for the Ortonville Lions Club, the Village of Ortonville, we asked money for them, we've asked money from you guys, and we've asked from Groveland Township, not Holly. So we consider it those three communities, Ortonville, Brandon, and Holly. Groveland, not Holly, I keep saying Holly, but.
Right,
So-
and the budget is for this year about $25,000, so
Okay.
we're asking
We just
for
like
like
that.
20%.
I like that number on it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Powell.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. What is the total number? Cause fireworks ain't cheap.
Right.
And I was about to say, if we putting in this much, who matching this? Cause this
So
ain't the
we-
total
we-
bill.
Yep, no, we
Oh,
voted
yeah.
on Monday to put 4,000 in from the township, so
Okay.
we're already committed that. And we're still waiting for the other communities to respond. The Lions Club meeting is later this week and we're gonna go meet with them and get their funds hopefully. But we have budgeted now about 25,000,
Okay.
but so far we've only had 4,000 of our money towards that.
And that's about average.
And and in 2024, the fireworks
I think
were
there's-
14,800, that same show this year is 19,500.
They're
Wait a minute, say that again.
In 2024, it was 14,800. That same show this year is 19,500.
See, you said
So
fireworks.
it's gone up
They
about
have.
35%.
Yeah, they high.
Another one, go ahead.
All right,
And tariffs too, probably.
is that it, Commissioner Powell?
Same thing.
Commissioner Long?
So mine, that's good, I'm good on the fireworks one. Mine is on for Mike Spizbut, he might not know it, cause it's
What?
Brandon. What is the total budget on the arts, eats and, I wish, or arts and apples?
Is that paint?
Cause this is 10,000 asking, so I wish respectfully if we can put the
Sean.
total.
Sean could do it.
Yep, there you
Yeah,
go. Hey, Sean.
Sean's here to answer for me.
Sean, yes, okay, good, Sean. What is the total, I see the request is 10,000, what do you predict the total budget to be for arts and apples festival?
The total budget is closer to 200,000 for the
Oh,
festival,
okay.
maybe between 150 and 200,000.
I know it's
There's a
huge,
lot of
so-
expenses
Okay,
related to. Did you just need it simple as that?
yeah, no, that's all, I like to know that, cause you have a big portion of it, on your end, so thank you.
Yeah, the whole point is we want these sponsorships to be,
Have people.
have a group that is sponsoring it. We don't want Oakland County to be sitting out there by ourselves. So the
Yeah.
more people you bring into this event
Yes,
as funders,
Obviously.
the happier we are.
obviously they're bringing a lot of people for that
Yeah.
much, so,
60,000.
good, yes, good, thank you.
Absolutely.
I have no problem with 10 then.
Commissioner Spiz, you had a question?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
That's I'm part of the resolution.
Thank
so I
you,
don't-
Sean, for answering, that's what I just wanted to
Thank you,
know.
Okay.
I'm good with 10,000 then, I just always like to check when we
Anybody else?
ask for more.
Okay. Any other comments on items C, D, or E?
Fine, as long as anybody-
No one here from Clausen?
No,
Oh,
No, that's pennies.
Annis,
5.
Nope.
Green,
Oh, that's
red,
you're not crossing
I'm sorry, Commissioner Long was here earlier, she did have to step out.
Commissioner Long, she's
I'm
not here.
here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lutz.
Lutz.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, Lubes
Oh,
is
she's here.
crossing, yeah, I'm good with it though, isn't that 5,000 only too, 5,000? It's the lower.
Okay, going
Good with
once, going twice, let's prompt the vote
So we're
on
doing C, D, and E, okay, thank you. Good. I know you're gonna be confused, Commissioner Long.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Okay, motions all carried,
Okay, good.
so,
Thank you for
Thank you,
coming,
guys.
thank you, Sean, online,
See you later.
Thank you very
All right.
much.
you're welcome.
good luck planning, everybody.
Item 9F, FY 26 first quarter forecast and budget amendments. And our finance people have sat through this whole meeting.
Yes, thank
That's why
you,
we put them at the end. You gotta go through the
I know, ugh.
I'll move it, by the way.
Moved by Commissioner
Oh,
Spiz,
this is
supported by
what-
Commissioner
yeah.
Erickson Galt.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Cheryl oh my God. Cheryl Johnson, Deputy CFO.
Oh, my.
What you say, your other name?
Oh my.
You said something else?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Just ignore that, see, that's what I get, you're thinking too much.
Now I'm all discombobulated.
She almost used her alias this one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so thank you for having us. This is the Q1 forecast. I'm gonna turn this over to Brent. Excuse me, you're gonna start seeing Brent introduce these. You're gonna see some changes to these. What we're doing is we're kind of like easing in our changes as we're getting our reports up to date in our software. And so you're gonna see a couple of colorful graphics, and I'm gonna let Brent talk through this. I do wanna point out one thing, we were reviewing these, when they came to me for review, we were having a conversation about law enforcement. The way that our budget analyst had projected out the forecast, they looked at one particular division that was in the hole in overtime and then didn't account for the division that's not in the hole. So the net for the sheriff's office is still at budget. So when you're looking at page 10, the summary that we usually look at, that is incorrect, and we will replace that before the entire package goes to the board. You know, we're trying to still, as we go through the version control process with our new reports, we missed something, so just putting that out on the table. I'm gonna turn it over to Brent Straub, our budget chief, who will walk you through and then we'll address any questions you have.
Thank you.
Okay,
So I'm gonna point, if you wouldn't mind bringing up the FY '26 Q1 financial forecast report. That is the colorful sheet with the, with the graphs at the top.
Yes.
This is what we're trying to start producing for you all to give you an overall summary, really just focusing in on what is it that you guys need to know. And one thing I'll call out is that that issue with law enforcement is not reflected in here. So you'll see that that issue is actually corrected in these numbers. So this sheet is the correct one. So focusing specifically on revenues, the top figure, figure one, this is really just a breakout of the different ledgers of where's our revenue coming from. You can obviously see the largest portion of that is going to be from taxes, about 52%. The reason why I want to make sure I include this graph is we do amend our budget significantly throughout the year. So you are going to see these numbers change in terms of percentages. And I want to make sure you all are aware of how that's impacting our revenue. So moving on specifically to the revenue variances and where we're seeing favorability in the general fund. Primarily, this is coming from charges for services. Specifically, this is coming from two places that are working in tangent together. The first one is from our health department. They've done a great job at really focusing in on immunizations and vaccinations. So I'll let them kind of go into the details of how that's impacting their budget, but we are seeing significant additional dollars coming in for that. We are also seeing at the same time some unfavorability within in some of the district courts. That is not entirely within their realm of control. A lot of those charges are based off of caseloads and based off of fees that are determined by the state of Michigan. So that is where the majority of our favorability within the general fund for revenues is coming from. Moving on to the next page, which is our expense side. You'll see, again, our amended budget, who's making up a lot of the expenses for the general fund. The top.
Are you on page 2 on our?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So specifically, the 5 areas that are accounting for about 70% of our total budget are the sheriff's office, the circuit courts, health and human services, non-departmental, and public services in terms of the makeup of our budgeted expenses. Now, when we start looking at table 2, which is our expenditure variances, you'll see that our highest variance is actually, again, from our HHS department, Health and Human Services. This is primarily attributed to childcare fund expenses. So a lot of this is driven by court activity. Children go into the court, they get ordered by a judge to go into some type of system over in the health department. It's really driven by the caseloads from the circuit court. Health doesn't have control over that. With that said, I'm open to any questions that you have.
Like the graph.
Yeah, we'll start with Commissioner Spiz and then Commissioner Erickson Galt.
You can go first if you would like.
Yeah, mine hopefully is a very simple question. Forgive my ignorance, what is non-departmental?
Non-departmental is where we do things like our property tax goes there because it kind of affects all of the departments. So instead of attributing it to one particular, like county executive or the sheriff's office, it lives in non-departmental.
Okay.
Like roads, when we do the road programs, those all live in non-departmental.
Gotcha. Thank you.
That's a good question.
Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the graphs.
Yes.
I appreciate it very much. I can look at this a lot faster than the
Yes,
multi-pages,
I
right?
love it.
So in short, looking at them both from
It is a nice
revenue
graph.
and expenditures, my rule of thumb is you're plus or minus 3%, you're doing pretty damn good. So we're doing pretty damn good based on what I can see. And we're in the black, which is even better, right? I guess, and my only real question is on the
Tomorrow night. There you go.
is on the revenue side, the other revenues, and I know you have the note there. The other revenues is favorable by about 1 million for prior year revenue adjustments. Can you explain prior year revenue adjustments?
Yes. So in short, I'll turn it over to Cheryl to get into the details. A lot of this is timing of when we receive some of these dollars. So it's things like we did have the federal shutdown, we did have the state shutdown that delayed the timing of when we receive those dollars. Depending on when we receive it relative to our year end, we may have to recognize it within 1 year. Yeah.
Gotcha, okay, thank you.
That's it. Commissioner Smith Charles.
Thank you. So, you know, I see the 56 pager and, golly, try to get back to the top. I was just curious, what are we recommending to the board? Like, what's the language specifically? It just has an attachment.
This is our quarterly report that we, by the GAA that we do every year, that we are required to give to the board based on what we say when we pass our budget. We give a quarterly update, and that's what this is. As you know, we put a budget together, it gets adopted in September, and then there are budget amendments that come through the committees, there are budget amendments, and I think Brent, I'm gonna give him a couple more minutes to talk about what some of the things in the back are. We've changed some of those budget entries. The details you see in the back, which is kind of what we're trying to wean you guys away from a little bit, is all the details of all the line items. I think it's just getting really in the weeds for you all, and you don't necessarily need to do that. These 2 pages that Brent has put together really align with what's in the front of the budget book. And so this is kind of where we're trying to track the budget book and the budget process to look at. We are still gonna have the line item detail available for people, but I think that looking at it this way is more transparent. It's easier for you to digest 1 page of numbers with a graph than it is 250 pages of line item numbers. So this particularly, when we talk about our statutory requirements to the GAA, this is our quarterly report to the board and to the finance committee.
Okay, and so we're simply recommending to the board this report?
Approving a budget amendment.
Yeah.
Approving a budget
Oh,
amendment.
because there are budget amendments attached to it, so there's budget corrections, there's budget amendments from items that we've done things through. Those are all in here and then they get incorporated quarterly.
So in previous years, what we have done is we've done Schedule A's, Schedule B's. And when I took a look at those, I didn't think that they really told anybody what actually are we doing. So what we've done instead is we've split these apart to show here's budget corrections, because guess what? Sometimes things get rushed, sometimes people make mistakes. We are constantly looking for that to make sure that we're aligning stuff to be the right place. We have grant acceptances per board policy, something that is, say, a grant amendment under $10,000 or under, I believe, 10 or 15% of the total award amount goes in a subsequent quarterly forecast. This is when we're actually amending the budget per that policy. We do have the temporary business continuity positions, a fantastic new program that we're working on rolling out that are budgeted positions for situations where we just had one recently, someone's out on medical leave. I need a body to help make up that gap for 2 weeks because they're gonna be back. But we need somebody there. We're able to then put money in their budget to give them that person, so we are still providing the services to departments and to the communities while also ensuring that we are being fiscally responsible in knowing where those dollars live. So we're trying to be very transparent with what is actually being changed in the budget for you.
So I appreciate that. I don't understand why it's not a receiving file. Like, I'm uncomfortable recommending to the board a report.
So just to clarify, the report is just describing the budget amendment. So you're recommending that the budget be amended based on the information in the report.
Yeah,
If I may, whenever there's a resolution and there's not a budget amendment attached, it says this will be adjusted in the quarterly forecast. That's what this is. So that's why it has to be recommended as the changes to the budget that got recommended in resolutions that say it'll take place in a quarterly forecast instead of having a budget amendment attached to it.
Got it. So yeah, I hear Commissioner Long. I guess my thing is there's no narrative.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is kind of I completely lean on you guys' expertise. It's just, for fiduciary responsibility to say, I recommend this 56 pages of numbers, because quite frankly, we could throw another $1 million on the Board of Commissioners line item if we just making recommendations. But
I wouldn't
just
let
make
you
that
do
motion?
that. She made a motion.
You know, cause, we nickel and diming over here. But, that's it. That's all, it was just, I guess I was looking for more of a narrative of what
Summary
we
sheet,
are
basically.
Or a summary or.
recommending to the
There was a
board.
to the
resolution
point.
attached, and I'm not finding it.
That's what I'm saying, I think do we not normally have a resolution or
No, so
something, or
this is just a
summary?
motion,
That's
you'll
what I'm
see in the
thinking.
introduction and background is that narrative, hopefully, obviously it's not enough of a narrative in this case. And so that's where you'll find that though. And that's where those whereas statements are normally in a resolution.
Exactly. And that's what I think I'm leaning on.
Yeah,
is
I
to
think
say,
I like that too.
But
there's no introduction.
Therefore be it resolved that we
That's the point.
None of
Yeah.
that's in here.
It's just to
We do
It
have
starts out with just-
MR written up as a whereas and then out there for it be resolved, and we can follow up afterwards with that for you.
Yeah.
Maybe if we can attach it to the board floor, I'm kind of with her, I'm a little
So
uncomfortable.
there should be an item summary sheet, if there's not, that's
There's
my
not.
mistake.
Okay,
I
there
will-
is not this time, and that's why I thought we normally had, I agree with you,
Just
yeah.
keep in mind, this is a statutory responsibility of the
Okay.
committee and of the board, so
Okay.
we-
Alright, just have our
Yes.
summary, maybe before the board meeting.
I'm sure the mask
Yeah.
threw them off, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
No, thank you.
And then there's a misspell in quarter, not cutter, whatever that is. That's all I got. Thank you.
You fixed the spelling error or the?
Yeah, there's a couple of formatting things we're still working on.
Okay.
Yeah, you got, and keep in mind, obviously, and I know we're still working with fiscal, but we did receive this yesterday, so I can
Okay. No,
understand
it's
why.
fine. I think the board floor.
That makes even more sense. So, thank you, Mr. Keys.
Yeah, it was that spot in our schedule that said,
Yes, exactly, yep,
Yes,
yep.
all right. Anybody else on this topic? Oh,
There's no backup, just a report.
we're gonna vote right now. Okay, so let's prompt the vote to recommend to the board. And it will come with a
Summary or
a
resolution.
summary sheet attached.
Yeah.
Okay,
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes.
Thank you for having grace for us while we change these reports
Yeah,
around.
that's good. We love your first 2 pages, so that's real.
Yeah, those first two pages.
One
It must
thing.
color
Thank you so
charts.
much.
I hate looking at those spreadsheets.
Oh my God.
Oh, and Lynn has
Thank
somewhere.
you. I love you for this one, man.
Yeah.
He advocated for us to get that.
All right,
He did all the
last
work.
up, we
thank you.
have our second public comment.
Maybe thank me, because I requested it.
Anything
He just talks about it.
somebody wants to speak to us about.
Well, thank you, Yoga.
Marguerite is still here, so.
Yeah.
You know the drill, tell us your name and it's
Hi.
3 minutes.
My name's Margaret Gupta. I'm with Oakland Township. I get a wealth of information every time I come to meetings. I think I probably write out about 20 pages of notes for a lot of things. One thing that I did catch my eye though, it is the presentation that was done by the defense or the public defense.
MIDC.
Yeah.
They have a $19.6 million budget. And Oakland County matches up 1.8 of that. It's a grant, and this money is being spent for defending public felons or people that have been brought into the jail system. They have, specifically, they say they have county employees that they pay, which means county benefits, fringe benefits. You have investigators, you have everything. Yet, when I bring it to the table saying that we have judges that are not following court rules, you know, I would love Oakland County to look at the, at the gravity of the situation. I know that there's no reasonable or there's no easy way of taking it apart. But to be honest with you, I've got the accolades. I really do. Who else's phone number is made invalid by a state judicial official? The whole judiciary. I can't call one office. My phone number's tapped. My call log's been changed. Even on my phone, I looked at the number, that wasn't the number I called, another non-working phone number. My mail's been intercepted. Who does it? It's because they wanna silence me. And I just want Oakland County to take just 1 step forward or 2 steps forward to take action to say, hey, we tried. We got blocked too. I get it. You guys aren't directly connected to the judiciary. But boy, you guys do have a lot of budget. You got a lot of money, you got a lot of grants to work with. And I'm telling you, this is not just me. when the courts are changing statements on records, removing statements from the transcript, when they're doing it to control and rig court case outcomes, that's a huge problem. You're talking about people being felons in jail, being held. We've got people using the Zoom hearing platform that has no ability for security and safeguard, no software safeguards to preserve a court record, zero, and they knew about it. And you guys are allowing them to continue to use it without any type of consequences. No investigations. Chris Buttigieg said, hey, that would be really easy, just go into the electronic data to see who logged in and who logged off. That's how quick it would be, but it's been 4 years. It's power protecting power. And Oakland County needs to stand up and say, we did something. Just take a couple steps and see if I'm wrong. I'm not. I'm not the only person. So I thank you for your time, guys. See you next week. I think it's a Wednesday, not a Thursday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday night.
Yeah, I got my calendar for next year.
Wednesday night.
Thank you. All right, that is our public comment. If there's no one else.
And then we got this announced,
And
this is it.
Mike brought us all a copy
That's
of
what we
the
normally have, I
resolution
think that's what
for
was missing.
That's what was missing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
the first quarter report.
Yeah.
And is there any other business?
May have that.
Seeing none, I
Now I
call this
see.
meeting adjourned.